All right, so like Mayor Bloomberg and Anthony Weiner, Congressman Nadler says he could care less about the radical views of Faisal Abdul Rayouf. None of these politicians appear to have any problem allowing a man to build a mosque near Ground Zero who once has said that the U.S. was an accessory to 9/11. I find that pretty unbelievable. Joining me now with reaction, our former CIA officer and New York Senate candidate Gary Bernstein, and filmmaker Jehan Harney is with us, who knows the imam behind the proposed mosque. Guys, welcome aboard. Thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure being here today.
Look, my take on this is very simple. I want to know why he wants America more Sharia compliant, why he refused, and we played this last week on the program, to condemn the terror group Hamas, wouldn't come out and say it, why he said Osama bin Laden is made in the U.S., and why he said the U.S. is an accessory to 9/11. Simple questions.
Well, a couple of things. First off, Senator Schumer, who I'm running against, has stated that he supports the building of the mosque as well. As I travel around the state of New York, people and citizens are concerned, very concerned about this. I'll say that we need to look at the financing of this mosque. We need to look at the fact that some of the associations, and I have to say clearly, I have served on the ground with Americans who are Muslim Americans who fought in Afghanistan, who care about the Constitution of the United States. But what's most important is that mosque at Ground Zero is going to be a magnet for militants. Because having not raw emotion, as Congressman Nadler said, with experience. I was the chief of Hezbollah operations in CIA for 3 years. I also have worked Al-Qaeda. They target mosques and use them as platforms for operations, and that is your sacred ground.
Ms. Harney, let's go to you. You say you know this radical imam. He wants America Sharia compliant, said we are an accessory to 9/11. Osama bin Laden made in the U.S. Would not say Hamas is a terror group. You say he's moderate. Explain.
I know him personally. I've known him since 9/11. I've experienced 9/11. And he is considered to be one of the most moderate Muslim voices out there. We should be more supporting him than crucifying him. Mr. Bernstein, do you actually know Imam Abdul Rayouf?
No, I've not met the imam, but I do know that he has associations with individuals who are former Iranian ambassador, whose brother was involved in, weapons trafficking, involved in a number of other people that are financially supporting the mosque, we believe, that don't have the best interest of the United States or Israel.
Wait.
Well, I do know him.
I don't want to get into this issue. Hang on a second.
And let me tell you one thing. You don't have to take my views, and you believe in them. But you can also listen to the U.S. government itself. The FBI director had actually asked Imam Abdul Rayouf right after 9/11 to train 600 FBI officers, FBI agents. Do you know that?
I would love to have a dialogue
with the Department of State
about this publicly. If you can set that up, I'd be happy to do that and have that dialogue. But I would also ask the FBI and the director of CIA to
the U.S. Department of State is actually sending Imam Abdul Rayouf on an extended tour of the Islamic world in order to engage them in his message of peace and tolerance.
Hang on a second. 19 days after 9/11, he said Osama bin Laden was made in the U.S. 19 days after 9/11, he said that America was an accessory to what happened on 9/11. He wants America, he said in his own book, to be Sharia compliant. And you want to focus on these other aspects of it. I want you to answer, does that seem appropriate to you to say 19 days after 9/11?
He said America's policy in supporting the Taliban in its war there originally, they created actually the Taliban.
We did not create the Taliban.
That was wrong. But I'm not going to engage with you in politics. I'm here to talk about my experience and my views on this.
Wait a minute, Gary, I'm here to talk about what he said 19 days after 9/11. 19 days, Gary, after 9/11, he said Osama bin Laden was made in the U.S.
Sean, I'm not his spokesperson, okay? I'm not spokesperson of anybody. I'm just saying people are spreading all these, accusations about a person whom actually the U.S. government actually entrusts by training CIA, by training FBI agents, by engaging the Islamic world, its scholars, its political and religious leaders in the message of peace and tolerance. He actually, his book,
I would ask the FBI and the CIA together to provide a report on his contacts with the Iranians, former Iranian ambassador, former Prime Minister of Malaysia, who is hostile to Israel. Provide
That's
those
fine,
things,
Mr.
and I'm happy. And if you would
But
set up
he is
a dialogue between us, I'd be happy to debate
It boils down to
that.
one thing, Mr.
I think you're both
This
getting
is a
we're both getting
person
off course here.
whom we should be
You do not
supporting
want to
more.
answer this. Do you think, I'm going to ask you straight up, do you think it's appropriate 19 days after 9/11 to say America's an accessory to what happened?
Sean, if we're going to be talking about why 9/11 happened, many reasons led that to happen, okay? But one of the things that also many Americans say, you know, why could this happen is because these people don't like our freedom, our democracy, our symbol of diversity, okay? And now our action by supporting the discrimination against certain people from having their house of worship or in certain places or near certain places.
America should be Sharia compliant. Osama bin Laden's made in the USA.
Actually, our action, Sean,
we're an
is actually
accessory. You're
betraying our
making
values
excuses.
and our Constitution. And what we are doing is having a double standard.
Extremists are hiding behind the Constitution.
People who support human rights and justice, okay, and civil rights, and at the same time discriminating against certain people. It's a slippery slope. We can use moral reasons to justify why you have to bend certain rules.
We're out of time. I got to run. Thank you for being with us. Coming up.